Okay. Today's reading is going to be, what does your highest self want you to do? What has been keeping you from knowing that? And what can you do to clarify that connection so that you'll hear it on your own? I'm just realizing as I get started here, I may need some other decks. I only have so many close to me. But I'm going to just get started with what I have, okay? I'll pause where needed to grab some other decks. So, these are the choices. I'm going to pick one, which is the rose quartz. Pick two, which is my purple rock. And pick three, which is milky quartz that I actually dug up from the side of the road one time. Okay, so take a deep breath. Use your own intuition. We're talking about a message from your highest self, so these are going to be, things that sound like and feel like a remembrance. Like, oh yes, like it clicks in, right? It feels true. You know that that's a message for you. You know that's something your highest self has been trying to tell you, right? It's been, and the reason that I'm giving this message is because I had a moment earlier today where I wanted to act on something, and I was just unsure about it, and first I asked the cards, like, well, what will happen if I do it? And then it gave me the and then I was like, well, part of that seems okay, and part of that seems eh. And so I thought, well, what does my highest self, the one with the view of everything, want me to do in this situation? And she wanted me to retreat. And that felt exactly right for that moment, And for whatever reason, my mind wanted to justify doing it anyway, right? So having the view of my highest self in that moment, even though I couldn't hear her, I used the cards to get a message, and so that's what we're going to be doing for you, okay? We're going to start with pick number one. And I don't know where to put this so that you'll see it. I guess we could put it right here. Yeah, we could do that. Okay. Pick one. What does your highest self want you to do? We're asking generally, but it may come up with a specific situation. You'll know. And I'm going to get some cards from a few different decks here on this before we talk about it, okay? I've asked them to give me a message through one of the piles too. So, I'm really curious. And one more. They're coming out pretty easily. Okay then. Okay. Pick one. Your highest self wants you, first of all, we got the frog, purification, clear out the clutter. So there's something that you need to let go of, whether it be actual belongings that are cluttering up your space, or some old beliefs, or some old filters of on your view, some old coping mechanisms, some old pattern that you know very well is wasting your time, right? Like you've been doing it a while here. You're purifying. Your highest self wants you to purify. Now usually this is because you're going to make room for something else. Now it does say your beliefs are right for you. So it's something you already know. It isn't an outdated belief system in that case. It is a pattern that you're in that you don't believe is right. Your lighthouse guides you to the stars. The stars is where you're going to shine, right? And your lighthouse is your inspiration. What is the example that you have that you're aspiring to? Is there an example that you've seen that you know has been trying to give you messages? And also, there are no wrong turns. So the path that you've been on, the cycle that you've been in and repeating, however many times it's been repeated, it was your belief that it was okay to do that and that you had more to learn and that there was more reason to be in that cycle. So you continued on with it, right? So it's not that you've wasted your time. It's just that there's more to do. And the last card we got here is the Void. Stop. Embrace winter. The great cosmic womb. The void space is where there's just kind of nothingness, where you're just floating, where there's freedom, where things are created, where there's no resistance. You're in full acceptance. So what is in your way of being accepting of yourself and your situation as it is, as you are? Your highest self would like you to accept things as they are, meaning any doubts and beliefs about you having done the wrong thing by staying in a cycle too long. It's better to accept where you are, accept that that was for a purpose, accept that you were learning something. And once you accept it and stop beating yourself up over the cycle that you've been in, which you needed to learn what you've learned. Oh wow. A dove just like flew right by my window right now. A dove. This cycle has been right for you. You know, a dove, a bird flying by would signify a message, like a message from your highest self. And so once you've accepted this and stopped beating yourself up about anything, anywhere that you've been, you can start to see your inspiration more clearly and be in the flow, and be in the freedom, be in the knowing that it was all for something, that you are going in the right direction, that what you've learned was important for you to learn. The experience that you've had and are having are for you. Okay, I'm just going to pause. I'm going to grab some other cards and plug in my laptop so we don't lose each other. Oh, water. Yeah, maybe you felt like really distracted, like things, you know, were kind of like you didn't have it all together or something. That experience was all right for you. You're not trying to live up to anybody else's expectation of you. Staying hydrated might be a message for you. But just freeing yourself, I think, of living for anybody else's expectation. Like, your way is the right way for you. Their way is the right way for them. And full acceptance of that frees you. It's not wrong that you may have indulged in looking in those directions at all. Because sometimes it takes that, knowing what you don't want, to know what you do want. Okay, so you've just been going through a process of purifying, and now it's just this matter of accepting everything and bringing it into 0 point. So please forgive my fingers. I was digging in some flowers and but bringing any thing that you don't accept into 0 point, which means full acceptance for it. Okay, so sometimes you need to see both sides of a thing before you know which was right for you, and before you have acceptance for something, right? Something that you may have fought against before. Okay, Spirit, what was keeping, pick one from seeing this? What was keeping pick one from seeing this? Eight of Wands and King of Swords in reverse. There may have been some manipulation by outside forces, or manipulation in your programming that made you want to seek reward. And you were just moving along that path of seeking reward with, and it was maybe just too fast paced. There was like just not wanting to do nothing, so doing something, which was seek that reward or seek acceptance for something from outside of you instead of within you. And I feel like it had to do with like trying to make money, maybe even, and also this like just feeling like you didn't know what to do exactly, like there was like a negative self-talk. There was some sort of way of thinking, not your beliefs, but the way that you were operating, the way that you were thinking. What were you thinking that was not in line with your beliefs, you know? It was that the outside people had too much power over you, because you're trying to make it in their world, even though your belief doesn't necessarily fall in line with that, okay? And now we're going to ask, I feel like getting another card on the topic of what was keeping you from seeing this, because I pulled out the Hermes deck, which is kind of trickster energy, which sometimes we can fool ourselves even, right? So what was the dichotomy here? What was the thing that was like, I want to fit in, but I don't actually believe this? Maybe you got messages from some place that wasn't for you. Like, maybe you got some advice from somebody, or you're waiting to hear something further to clear something up. Waiting for things to come into balance, knowing things would change eventually, and there were just too many unknown factors. You didn't feel sure. It was requiring you to step into the unknown, and it was easier to be in the known. That's all. It's very human. It's very typical, I believe, of this part of our journey. Those of us who are on this journey of expanding our awareness, letting go of patterns that are no longer serving us, growing, learning, you know. It's tough, like when you feel this want to grow and learn and leave things behind, but you don't know which is the thing you're leaving behind. Is it appropriate to do so? With these outside influences, and I do believe it's something. There was maybe a miscommunication, or there was just a waiting for something to be clarified. But really, your highest self is showing you this is within you. You already know what's right for you. So the place where you feel like something's wrong, something's off, it is. Okay, and now we're just going to go with, what's the advice for pick one to stay in touch and be more clearly guided by highest self? What can pick one do to be more clearly connected? Address any restrictions, like on that, like, are you making enough time? Are you meditating as needed? Do you have the space, the privacy, the freedom within your mind to be at rest, to hear yourself, right? And these responsibilities, are there some that you need to let go of? And taking responsibility for the things like self-care, like making this time for self, okay? And making it like a priority. It's like part of your job is to do that for yourself. Listening to your dreams. Saying yes to your dreams. Welcoming in maybe more like-minded people. Yeah, friendships that are more like-minded. And acknowledging where there has been deception. So when we acknowledge it, we can validate it, like, why was it there? You know, ask yourself how you really feel. Is it in line with who you really are? How does this feel within you? Does this feel true? Does this feel something like something you want to invest in and trust? Would you allow it for your children? You know? And accept it. Accept where there is deception going on. Like maybe someone who fed you a false message or something like that, you know. Understand that that is a possibility. That's something that can mess with you a bit, right? And that's why it is important to pay attention to where you're getting your advices from, right? Yeah, here's more about your dreams. There's answers in your dreams. And staying more balanced, you know? Not getting so busy and in the hustle bustle of responsibility and providing and making money and being a parent and whatever it is that keeps you busy moving. Just finding some balance within that between what you have to do for others and what you need to do for yourself. And what you need to do for yourself is, you know, give yourself the time to listen to your dreams, to welcome in new people, and to be slow enough and balanced enough so that you recognize deception when it is presented to you. You know, you'll feel it right in your body when you're balanced out, right? You know that. I think this was just a matter of too many factors, you know, from all different directions, and coupled with this fear of the unknown. It's like pretty easy to make the choice to stay in an old pattern when you don't know what you're stepping into. So instead of going by what other people tell you, use your own wisdom. Because your own wisdom is what got you to where you are today. And that's the stuff that's going to get you to where you want to go. Your wisdom gained was for you, for a reason, and will serve you well now. Very nice. I hope that is helpful. Pick one. And it sounds like you're on a journey like the rest of us, and like there's always going to be more to know, more to learn, more to get good with, more graceful ways to be. And it sounds like you are making great strides, because you are at a point where you are about to be stepping into this big amount of freedom with the wisdom you've gained. Woohoo! It's exciting, right? I hope that you're finding it exciting, and hope that you're giving yourself the recognition that you need, you know, so you won't need it from outside of yourself, because this is your own journey. You're the one who knows where you're going. You're the one who feels your guidance system from within you. So you're the one who has to listen to it, and you're the one who will feel the benefits of doing so. You know, it feels good when you know. When you know, and you know. Very nice. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time. Guess I should show you. Pick 2. This is my purple rock. My fingernails are looking a little eek, but I was digging in my plants, so I'll have to excuse that. And let's ask, what does your highest self want you to do? I'm using a few different decks here, okay? And I'm just going to get some cards from each to get the biggest picture. What does your highest self want you to do? So you may recognize this is something you're already doing. Okay, are these actually something that came out, or those are the exact cards from pile 1, so I'm gonna just like shuffle them in and try again here. Anything else here? Okay, and one more. Just pick whose highest self want them to do. Okay, pick 2. Ooh. Let me just lay these out here, and I'm going to tell you what I see in a moment. I'll show you the cards. Your highest self wants you to make room to be creative. There's something wanting to be created through you. You are an artist. And they want you to be really accountable to this. It's like that is part of you, accepted as you, right? As this is part of you. This is, wow, look at this. Okay. So first we got Rabbit, fertility. Your creativity is at a peak. And Badger, perseverance. Dig in and see it through to completion. So you may be going through some challenges through the process of trying to prioritize yourself as a creator. Trust your intuition. You are being led. You can feel your way through this. And feel is how you get creative, right? Feel. So you know you can feel. Now look at this. Cut away what is no longer needed for you. Okay, so there may be some things in the way. And then you decided to wake up, or else why did you draw me? This is part of your path. And I like how it just makes reference to, or else why did you draw me? Maybe drawing is how you're being creative. At least some of you. And you're creating your path all along the way. So maybe it's like you created a need to persevere in it. You created a need to be accountable to it. You created that. That is part of your creation. And it says your life is a canvas. Artist, manifestation, creative accountability. So creative accountability, and the fact that we've said what we've said so far, tells me like even the obstacles in your life right now have been created by you. Okay? And some of them are no longer needed. So now that they're shiny and bright in your face and putting pressure on you, can you prune them away? And can you see it through? I don't know if you know anything about the honey badger. but I have like tears in the back of my eyes as I say honey badger. Honey badger is one of my spirit totem animals, and honey badger doesn't give up. Honey badger does not give up. So don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Know that even the obstacles to creating are your creation. And that means if you created them, you have what it takes to create a path that is more free for you. You have fertile ground. And you can follow your intuition. So what in your path, what in your way is not serving you any longer, right? What needs to be trimmed away? And how you do that is acknowledging it, validating why it's there. Like, why did you create that for yourself? There's probably something that you wanted to learn from it. There's some wisdom to be gained from the situation. Now, by validating it, and understanding it, this is where you're going to understand what kind of lessons could be learned from it. Then you're accepting it as it is. Like, I did this, I created this, I accept that this is the case. However challenging, however discouraging it could be. Right? And, this card tells me that, it's like something that you don't really want to deal with, right? It's like, I didn't really want to see that. But you did. On a higher level, your highest self is telling you, well, you did want to see this. You did want to see this. And so then love the part of yourself that created it. If you don't understand, love the part of yourself that doesn't understand. Accept that you don't understand and know that it will become clear. Things will become clear as they need to. And what you really need to do is take responsibility and accountability for what you are creating and create new where you need to. Okay, what was stopping, if you were being stopped? You may have already, known this, but this is the question I'm asking, so use it how you will in your own view. But what was pick 2 doing to make it so they couldn't see this? The Hierophant. You're doing things as you felt they needed to be done. I feel like you were following in somebody else's footsteps, traditional footsteps. You were trying to follow the rules. And be a leader, be very secure, make sure that you were smart, business, these kind of rules, the established patriarchy rules, which you did create the situation you're in. This is part of the game you're playing, right? Why couldn't pick 2 see this? Unified love, 2 of Cups, partnership, mutual attraction. Maybe you're being distracted by a marriage. Like maybe you're married and you feel like your intuition is leading you to create something and you don't want to like upset the apple cart in a way. You have some security that you want to maintain. And it felt like too much. Like that, it felt like that you just have to give up because you were just overwhelmed with the creation that you were in. Like this one intuition telling you to go one way, and these established responsibilities and conformity and tradition and security that you already had in a partnership, perhaps in love. There's a conflict between work and home. Yeah, I was like, can you, like, can I take care of me, or do I have to keep taking care of this other situation? Maybe your finances were tied in with somebody else too. And maybe being creative and going off on this creative endeavor felt irresponsible, right? But you did create the situation that you're in. So, knowing that, you know, where can you go from here? I feel like that would take bravery to, you know, step out of the box and cut away what is no longer needed for you to follow your intuition. But your life is your canvas. Is there, you know, is there a bridge you can build between the old way and the new way? Ooh, that felt nice, right? Okay, now we're gonna ask for another card from the Hermes deck. Hermes is the trickster. Is there any other underlying factor of why pick 2 couldn't see this? Maybe they could see it, or why they couldn't do anything about it? I'm just shuffling. Okay, there's a card here. Oh wow, again. Wow. Fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. Yeah, I don't even know what this means. Oh my goodness, how did I get this? Corpus Hermeticum. Knowing that, I don't even know. I would have to look this up to know what it means. But what I'm getting is knowing that what goes around comes around, and knowing that by abandoning certain responsibilities to pursue something that is more in line with who you really are, your intuition is leading you to, might create some sort of thing that you have to pay for later. Yeah, but since it's all your creation, you know, what can you do to alleviate that situation? I'm just going to see if there's anything else in this deck here. Yeah, what kind of thing does that create? Well, listen to this. Like, is it your true self that you came here to be in balance with, or was it the rules of the men from before you? You know, why did your soul incarnate? What is this canvas that you're working on? You wanted to face this situation. What did you want to learn from it? There's so much unknown about it. I feel like there's so much unknown about it that you really are here as one of the forerunners to create a new way. A new way of being that just allows for something other than that, what you've already experienced, and the restrictions of that. You've felt the restrictions of that. What can you create to bridge the gap between the restrictions of that and the new way? You know? Ceres. The mythology of Ceres is that she was the mother of Persephone. Persephone was taken into the underworld, and Ceres went into mourning. And then we had fall and winter where we didn't have any crops or whatever, and the compromise was made to return Persephone for 6 months out of the year. So she's a mother who endured a loss and then had to do like visitation basically with her child. But she encompasses this unconditional love, Ceres' unconditional love, the mother, the divine mother energy of fertility. So what can you create using the unconditional love that you have access to? This is considering this is a situation that you created and that you wanted to learn from. Okay? The last thing I'm going to ask for is some advice on what you can do to strengthen your connection to this highest self part of you in the future. What can you do to strengthen? Honor your divine partnership might be one thing. But your divine partnership within yourself too, the masculine and feminine parts of you both. Oh yeah. Come into balance with the masculine and feminine. Then you'll see the answer much more clearly. Okay, so the masculine is the establishment, it's the structure, right? And the feminine is the thing that you are maybe less comfortable with, and it's the creation. And maybe you were only allowing your creation to be within the parameters of the structure, and your creation wants to break free from the structure and maybe create a new structure or something. So it's like bring your masculine with you through the feminine door that you're going through in a way. Things have been very unclear, and just be okay with that. Be okay in knowing that there is a divine love. There's a higher version of love that doesn't restrict or attach or expect. What can pick 2 do to allow this connection with higher self in the future? Know that change is a part of this. The structures that have been already it's time to change them. Be willing to change always. Because there is a feminine creator in you. There is a part of you that wants new, will grow. Sirius is in charge of the crops, growing. And your intuition, your highest self, is not going to lead you wrong. You know, it's not going to lead you into territory you're going to have to pay for later. This is your path, and it's all your creation. And when you create something that you don't love, you're going to learn from it, and then you're going to move through it. You know, this is just what life is. You just persevere. You never give up. You see it through. Every creation that needs to come through you, you see it through. Okay? Wow. Woohoo! That sounds like quite a journey there, pick 2. And I honor you and your journey. And I thank you for spending your time with me. And I hope that is helpful in some way. And I will see you next time. Okay? Put those in the wrong box, but that's okay. I'm going to use them one more time. Okay, pick 3. You chose the milky quartz, which I dug up from the dirt on the side of the road one time. And we're asking for messages from your highest self. What would your highest self like you to do? What would your highest self like you to do? And I'm getting a few cards from a few different decks here, and then when I have the bigger picture view, I'm going to talk about it and show you cards, okay? I'm getting like this message might hurt a little, like make you feel a little uncomfortable, okay? It's like a message that they've been trying to get through maybe, but it's been too, I want to say chunky, like, you know, not maybe you've been tuned into more bigger information and not the more subtle. Okay. Okay. You got bear, boundaries, stand your ground, and badger, perseverance, dig in and see it through to completion. So, let me just get a few more cards here. One more. Okay. Oh, wow. Your highest self wants you to let yourself shine in who you are, and despite any outside influences that may disapprove or not agree or not understand, because you have something to offer that may have to push against some things that are already established. Wow. I mean, pretty sure this is my pile, because like this is the kind of stuff that's been coming through for me. Okay. So we know we had bear and badger, right? So you stand your ground and see it through, and then we got like attracts like, and love is your energy. So you know that you are love. So you know that you can stand your ground. You know that that sometimes causes other people to not love the reflection that they see off of you, because it kind of shines light on their shadows, right? But that's what you are. You can't not be that, you know? You can't not be that. Deliver your greatest gift to the world. We got the sunglasses and we're talking about shining the light on. It's like, you can see everyone's light. You can see everyone's love. You can see everyone's potential. And maybe that is a gift that needs to be shown to the world. Maybe standing in that, proud and knowing that what you see and what you are is love, right? And the shade is going to just bounce right off you. Your gift is that you see with love, and you see into love, and you know where love could be added to improve a situation, even when it's hard, even when it's rejected over and over again. And this is not to say that you need to assert yourself in places and ways where you're not welcomed or seen. It's saying stand your ground. It's just saying don't let them make you retreat. You know, don't retreat because of others' disapproval or not noticing or the fact that they don't get it, right? And then it's child of the cosmos. This is child. This is innocence. See, it says, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. Child of the cosmos is here as an innocent being with an open heart. And who knows why they're here. And is here to play, is here to enjoy, is here to love. And just being that is a gift. And if you just let yourself be that, instead of trying to defend yourself, right, or assert yourself, like attracts like. Others like you that are wanting to play here in the cosmos can come into your life. Because the defensiveness and the assertiveness are just not who you are. They're kind of combative energy, and this is really saying you can just be who you are. You can just stand in it. And it's not to say that you'll never take action again or whatever, but this is really asking you to stand in the truth of who you are, that you are a gift to the world, and that all you have to do is be that and not give up on being that. You know, keep being that. keep being that. Come what may, keep being that. Okay, just adjusting how I'm sitting. And let's ask then, what had been keeping pick 3 from seeing this? What had been keeping pick 3 from seeing this? And maybe you had seen this, but we're still asking this question. I think you were just really trying to achieve something. You're trying to keep something going that didn't really quite line up with you. This being who you are required you to leave behind something that you're not, and I think that it was hard for you to let it go in love, because there were a lot of great things about it. There were enjoyable things about collaborating in ways that just you've outgrown. It's like to stay in that is a restriction now. This situation helped you strengthen your boundaries. It helped you see how strong you are, how much perseverance you have. And I think you had certain expectations, maybe of yourself or others, for what you could achieve within that dynamic. But since it was a no-win situation, like to change others, right? To change what you wanted to about the surrounding, about the situations that have to be let go of, I think it really puts you into a difficult situation where you maybe felt some apathy and you needed to meditate some more and reevaluate. Okay, let's see. From the Hermes deck, anything else that would be helpful to understand about what was keeping pick 3 from seeing this more clearly? Polarity. So there was something to integrate through the situation that you were in. There's some sort of acceptance that needs to come from what you've learned from being in that cycle, right? It's like maybe that there are cycles and that there are times for things that teach us and there are times for things that free us. And one serves the other. The polarity causes the magnetism. There's a magnetism keeping you in this situation, and like it was confusing. It was like it felt like something to solve, but really, if there are two polarities, and you know, creating balance comes with accepting both sides of it, accepting that that is like that, and accepting that I am like this, and finding that there's a freedom in knowing both of those things exist, because now you can slip through the middle ground, and that's love. Love is acceptance of both and all. Coming into union with yourself, the polarity within yourself. I feel like you were waiting to be guided out of a situation and didn't realize that you were the guide. That you were the one that was the guide. That it was very confusing. And maybe it felt like home to be in that dichotomy because that's how it felt in your family home. In this incarnation, when you grew up, maybe there was always that polarity. Maybe there was like one parent that was this way and one parent that was that way. Can you look at that situation and apply it to where you've been? Like, is there a reason that you were just reliving what felt like home when in actuality it's no longer serving you and it's time to let it go? Because your highest self is saying you don't have to do this anymore. You don't have to be bound by that anymore. And if you'd like to attract some more people that are like you, you know, then you have to be more like you. And you can have acceptance that there are people that are not like you. And it doesn't mean that you have to hate them or, you know, that they're wrong or bad. It just means that by balancing out this polarity, you are allowing in people of like mind that want to live the way you want to live. Because you've already lived out the polarity. You've understand it. It's helpful to understand it, right? Okay. And can we please have some advice for how pick 3 can keep this connection clear in the future? How can pile 3 keep this connection clear in the future? Be very gentle with yourself through the process. And then on the memories where you're like looking at what's happened in the past, either good or bad, there's a worksheet called the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet by Byron Katie. That's something that could help you when I reference what I'm about to reference. But this is actually Flip the Memory, is from EFT, Faster EFT, where he actually shows how you can tap on your energy meridians while reliving a memory to flip the memory around. So while you're accessing the story that you used to tell yourself about it, tell yourself a new story while tapping on the main energy meridians in your body. You might need to look up tapping if you're not familiar, but this will actually temper the energy out of the old story and the pull and the polarity and what it meant to you. And let yourself free. Let yourself free to be not living in that dichotomy, not living in the pull of both sides of that, right? Both exist, sure. And you have some experiences in that and some experiences in that, and both have been enjoyable. But one is who you really are. And Spirit, your highest self, is asking you to stand in that. And so there may be some things about what you remember and the way you're remembering it that are not making that easy for you. So can you reframe the story that you're telling yourself about what has happened and be very gentle with yourself? Tell a more gentle story about it, right? Because you are love. You are love, and it's just a matter of wanting to feel like home. Yeah, it's telling a new story about abusive situations, maybe that you have been a part of, or that's been done to you. Tell a whole new story. Flip the memory. Tell the story that you wished had happened while you're tapping the energy. Temper it out. Like when he does Faster EFT, he's like, well, even though I was betrayed, even though that someone went behind my back, even though I felt really betrayed, and even though I felt devastated and I didn't know that I could move through it, I'm now recognizing that I can move through it. I can let this energy go, that I am powerful and I can create my own reality, and I can recognize when people are no longer good for me, and that no longer affects me. That energy is no longer with me. I don't have to carry that anymore. I recognize that I am free now. I am free, and I am a strong, powerful being who can handle my situations, who can sense betrayal through my intuition, and I understand and I do not ignore red flags any longer. You know, Just change the story while you're tapping the meridians. This is very powerful stuff. If you watch videos on YouTube about faster EFT, you learn that you can change your life in 5 minutes. And I've practiced with this a lot in the past, and you really can do it. And for a while, when I first learned it, I was doing it with everything. You know, I made a lot of progress really quick. But it is mentioning abusive situations specifically that just need to be let go of. So it's not like blame, it's like loving the parts of you that were participating, whether you were the perpetrator or the perpetrated. All is lovable, right? Holding a grudge, wanting to do this, what you thought, blah, 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 all of it can be integrated, okay, to free you so that you no longer have to live in the doubts and the fears and the self-talk about what you might be missing out on and what choices you might be wrong, right? Everything will become way more clear once you free yourself from that old story that you've been telling yourself. And it's reminding you to be very gentle with yourself through this. I did see the 1111 card, so perhaps this is going to open you up to a divine partnership. Well, it came out after I shuffled it back in after seeing it. So I would say, yeah, you're coming into balance with who you really are, and this may line you up with someone who's just like you. Okay. What comes to mind, and this comes to mind often for me sometimes when this is the situation, and it's, I don't know if you've ever watched The 100. It's a show on Netflix, and it was a little violent, and it was like the first violent show I let myself watch in a while, but I really was glad that I let myself watch it, because it really ignited in me that fighting spirit, that spirit that says, I will not give up, and when I face a challenge, I get stronger. And I feel like you understand that energy, but also the line that came to my mind was, your fight is over. And I think that's what you're bringing yourself into, is like this balance where it's not about the fight anymore. It's just about, you know, standing in your own truth and who you are, a child of the cosmos. Your innocent, playful nature that has all the divine intelligence. So, I mean, you know, with that kind of power, the intelligence of the universe, it's just like the duality can be transcended, and it feels a lot better because of who you are, right? Because it's the fight that hurts, it's the resistance that hurts. So you're fully accepting both sides, and then that frees you to make choices that don't involve you being tangled up in it by feeling guilty about what your obligations were, or what you fed into, or what you know, what part you have played in anything. It's like, that's over, okay? Your highest self wants you to be who you are, be love. Okay? Wow. Well, I hope that's helpful to you in some way. Thank you for spending your time with me. And thank you for doing the good work. And for being love here. I mean, you know, I know it wasn't always easy. But I know it's been fun too, you know. And yeah, I think we're gonna end it there. Thank you for spending your time with me, and maybe we'll see you next time.